Hi, we heard Jack. It's really amazing. It's he's a phenomenal person. The way he presents, the way he talks, the kind of enthusiasm and energy he brings while he's presenting to an audience like you all. He's amazing. I mean, he goes into details of everything, and he does it so well. So I hope you enjoyed listening to Jack. And it's always I mean he gives so many ideas, and I've seen that a lot of you, when you meet him in person, you get to know a lot of things, you get to learn things from him. But unfortunately it's more like a one-way communication this time. So it's not the interaction is not really possible, but I think still you got to hear from him what he believes is driving the interconnection of various things across the globe. So that was a very great learning opportunity for all of us from Jack, about his vision, about how you all are doing, and what is the plan, SC's plan in terms of introducing new technologies in the near future. So I'll take a few minutes to relate whatever Jack has said with the vision for India, that how we can make use of these technologies in India and how we are making use of these technologies in India. So India is a place of opportunities. We have vision for a new India and the goal to be a 5 trillion economy by the year 2025. At the same time, we do have our challenges. We have challenges of poverty. We have challenges in terms of quality of education, healthcare, unemployment, urban livelihood, water resources, climate change, natural disasters, and lack of infrastructure. It's improving, but still a way to go. While these are challenges, they also offer tremendous opportunities to us. India has world's largest pool of human resources in the productive age. By productive, I mean the working age, when people can work and contribute to building nation and economy. We need to harness the power of this advantage. Our superiority in IT and related services is well acknowledged across the world. We also have an important place in the world in terms of adoption of GIS technologies. Most of our government departments and ministries use GIS for their programs at both state and central level. We generate tremendous amount of data. A lot of this data needs to be geo-enabled and shared between different departments so that the true value of that data can be unleashed. And that will drive interconnection between departments, people, citizens, communities, and so on. That is what Jack said in his speech. So GIS is a technology that can help us in interconnecting our world. I would like to just recap on a few points that Jack made in his address, and see that how these are relevant for India and how we connect with those ideas that Jack presented to all of us. So GIS is organizing the world's geographic knowledge. It's transforming many things which are happening around. The heart of any GIS application is data, and that data is important. And you know, many government departments, organizations, private sectors, they generate data. They generate a lot of data within their organizations, and the trick here is to create data models, create analytic models, create maps, and you know, visualize the data. So for that, as I mentioned, geo enablement, geo enrichment, those are important things. And then creating workflows so that this data can be put to use for applications which can serve people across the organizations. So now, if you see some of the examples of this in our Indian context, could be, you know, we have been using GIS quite effectively in electric utility domain, in land management in many states. We are using this now for a variety of smart cities and urban development projects, and we have country, town, and planning organizations who create data models and who who build a lot of applications and mapping for the country. On the other side, we have use of this technology going on in sectors like telecommunication, manufacturing, insurance. Crop insurance is a very big application. So these are the areas where GIS is helping in bringing people together and creating the interconnection of various stakeholders to make use of the geographic knowledge which exists in the country today. And GIS is also, I mean, this is a Jack slide, I'm just repeating in Indian context. So it helps in measuring. Look at the situation of COVID-19. It helped us in identifying where COVID is taking place, visualizing and getting the information on a map, creating some models to predict where the new outbreak can happen, making some plans, making some decisions, and then taking actions based on those decisions, and then measuring the impact of those decisions once again, and then the whole cycle continues. So that's one example of using GIS in context of our current situation. So basically, we establish a framework which helps us in building all the data together and creating a system which helps us in making better decisions. Now, at heart of this is geospatial infrastructure. So geospatial, when I say geospatial infrastructure, it is IT infrastructure, it's applications, it's GIS software, it's data, it's maps and apps, it's a whole lot of things put together. And that's how we implement GIS in the modern times. And this infrastructure, geospatial infrastructure, can sit within your organization on your, as we call, on-premise, or it can be on cloud. If it's on cloud, it becomes easier to scale as the requirements go up. So that's an additional benefit that we have. But once you create that geospatial infrastructure, it's able to engage with everyone, individuals, the teams, the departments, organizations inside and outside your department or company, and then engage with communities as the need arises. So basically, it helps in interconnecting everyone together on a common platform, so that the information that is inside the company that can be made use through, it can be put to use through a variety of applications to be used by all the components of organization, and as you like, even outside people. So that's how, I mean, we've seen this example of hub in case of many organizations in the country. It's happening in smart cities. It's happening in other urban local bodies. It's happening in many government departments. It's happening for data sharing. It's happening for publishing portals and let people interact with the system. So it's happening in multiple ways. And then this infrastructure can transform your organization because it can integrate many other technologies. It's possible to integrate a lot of real-time information which is coming through IoT sensors, bring that on a mapping platform, make it as a part of map, make it as a part of your application. In case of smart cities, we find great use of this in some of the applications which they have, like solid waste collection, traffic management, water distribution, better security and safety for people. They install a lot of cameras and sensors across the city, and that information comes on a map in real time, and that's visible to people. They can take decisions, they can make changes, they can adopt new practices based on that information. And similarly, going a step ahead, we'll talk a lot about artificial intelligence and machine learning. So as Jack mentioned, these are quite closely coupled with our ArcGIS Pro technology, and simple applications can be created by using those algorithms which are available in the software to automate certain actions, certain functions. I mean, I visited a smart city recently, and I saw that they were, in real time, they were able to count vehicles which were going on the road. Whether it's a truck or a car or a two-wheeler, they were able to count them in an automatic manner, and which gave them idea that how the traffic patterns change during the day, and how the signal duration can be altered based on the traffic patterns that they have. So there are a lot of such interesting applications which are being created. And cloud computing, as I mentioned, helps us in scaling, sometimes keeping the cost of infrastructure down, because you can scale up the infrastructure when you require and scale down when you don't require. And often with so many new technologies getting integrated, big data coming together, real-time data coming together, your requirement to process data quickly becomes very high, including drone data. The drones are capturing a lot of data which needs to be processed in a short time. So if you use cloud-based technologies, those processing can happen faster. Integration of different data which is coming can happen faster, and it helps in running your organizations better. So that's the transformation which is happening across the organization. Moving on to the next slide which I had, I basically looked at some of the how our work is being transformed in different areas. So geospatial infrastructure that we are creating, it's helping us, as I gave example, in urban design and planning, making better cities, smart cities. Jack also gave example of geo-design, which is one of a very popular term coined by Jack, and it's being used across the world now. That how do you make better decisions in terms of design of urban areas? In existing buildings and environment, indoor mapping is gaining popularity. It's very popular for in large campuses, manufacturing factories, in government organizations, in airports. So indoor mapping is becoming very popular. GIS is supporting different business analysis. We see a lot of use of this kind of analytics in financial services sector, some in manufacturing organization. Insurance is a big user. Telecommunication companies use this kind of business analysis quite a lot to examine the behavior of their customers and taking decisions based on that, the pricing and marketing decisions based on that. So these technologies are driving a lot of decisions in business organizations. And emergency management, whether it's for police or for any disaster response, it's also a very important area where GIS as a technology is helping. So the message which I wanted to convey here was that GIS is becoming all pervasive. It's relevant for all areas, and both in government and private sector. So it's important that we focus on professional development, education, skilling, training aspect. Jack mentioned that 250,000 users got trained last year, and we have a lot of programs for people to get trained, either when they are still in going through their education in universities or colleges, or when they are working in an organization. So that's a very important part. That brings me to an important part of capacity building, because one of the very important things that we face in India is the shortage of trained GIS manpower or geospatial manpower. So some efforts are being done in this area, but a lot more work is required. And today, when a student goes to an institute of higher education, whether the student studies mechanical engineering or computer science or geography or civil engineering or any other discipline, it's very important for the student to learn something about GIS, because wherever they go and work in their life, this technology will be useful for them. Most of our organizations in the country and the world today use GIS in some form or the other. So if those students, while they're learning, if they get a flavor of GIS and how to build simple applications, it tremendously helps them when they start working. And for that, we have a number of programs for education community where our software can be made available at a very attractive terms. And we have many organizations in the country who are a part of this initiative, where they're using our software to impart learning to a variety of students across the organization. And this is a small sample of some of those institutes. But overall, we have more than 400 education institutes in the country who are providing GIS education to their students. So that's a great contribution to society, and that's what transformed the country. That's what will take us closer to our vision of being a new India or a $5 trillion economy, because this analytics, the geo analytics, the business analytics that we support, that GIS or geospatial technologies support, is a great tool in hands of professionals of today. So that's a key thing which is important for our country, and we must focus on that. And another important thing which I would like to share is that the GeoNet community, which is a global community, but we have we have a very popular GeoNet community in India also. So many people are part of that. They share, they exchange ideas, they discuss various things, they ask questions from each other, they learn from each other. So the URL is on this slide, and you can request for it separately also. I would urge all the GIS professionals and people who are learning GIS, most of you are on this call, many of you are on this call, so please be a part of this GeoNet community. You will get to learn a lot of things. People share examples of their work, and they learn from each other. It's a great place to interact and engage with the community, people of your kind. And to bring this short talk to a conclusion, I would like to just repeat that you as GIS professional work in many types and size of organizations. You can play a very critical role in addressing the challenges of our times. And you and your work is becoming very essential in realizing a sustainable future and in building a vision for India and helping the country in attaining our goals. So with that, I would like to conclude my talk here, and thank you all for your participation in today's plenary session.